first.
Smoke you could see miles away only begins to tell the story. This fire consumed a Central Texas home today, leaving a family homeless and exhausting an already taxed fire department. The fire in Bastrop County took more than 3 hours.
You're looking at a live picture from KXAN Chopper 36. What a day at Austin's airport as the holiday travel rush begins. The suspicious package, the bomb robot, and the big headache for travelers. We have a live report. And the fire kept burning and burning. We have the pictures you will not see anywhere else. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias. Robert Hadlock has the night off. On this first day of the holiday weekend, traffic at Austin Bergstrom International Airport got off to a rough start. The second bomb scare in as many days came early this morning when a TSA official found a suspicious package. Our Chris Willis was at the airport when the bomb squad arrived. He joins us now with the very latest. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Michelle? Unlike Thursday's bomb scare incident in Southwest Austin, today's incident here at ABIA was over in just a matter of hours. A shot from the airport is always best from the sky. Here's KXAN Live Chopper 36. Things are back to normal, as you can see. The upper level of the airport, usually reserved for flight departures, is back open. Tense moments, however, for air travelers and emergency responders. An abandoned suspicious package, a partially evacuated wing of the airport, and Austinites looking to get out of the town for the holiday weekend, all left scrambling to find their flights.
They scooted everybody over here.
If it looks suspicious and it's at the airport, take no chances.
It looks suspicious because of some tubing and wires that were hanging out of it.
For the second day in a row, the bomb squad is called to action, this time at Austin Bergstrom International, after a TSA employee finds an abandoned package at the United curbside check-in.
We're not really sure at this point who dropped off the package, where it came from. All we know is this TSA employee spotted it and immediately notified authorities.
The west end of the upper level was shut down. People inside that area, including at the ticket counters and a security checkpoint, were evacuated.
They have a couple of police cars, about 3 or 4 EMS.
2 Austinites dropping off their friends at the airport were standing right next to that suspicious package when they were told to get away.
We saw the bomb squad coming in, and then they started shutting down the security gates.
We were right there where the package was.
First, the bomb squad robot was sent, and when that didn't work, a bomb squad officer suited up. And then, after 2 sets of x-rays,
They went up there on foot, opened the package up, and that's when they discovered that we have a homemade model airplane refueler.
And just to be clear, what's that again?
A homemade model airplane refueler.
Back live now with KXAN Live Chopper 36. You can see no flights were canceled as a result of today's bomb scare. Things were just kind of a mad scramble this morning as travelers tried to find their way to get to those gates. The America West, United, and Continental curbside check-in locations were all shut down. So not only did the travelers have to lug their bags from the lower level up to the top, they also had to use a pretty roundabout way to finally and eventually get to the gates of their flights. Michelle?
Some very proactive measures there, Chris. Now, do we know whose package this is?
Well, you would think, huh? It's pretty specific, a styrofoam-looking cooler type of package, and pretty specific contents as well, a homemade model airplane refueler. But so far, nobody has come forward, and if they do, you can bet airport officials here would like to talk to them. So if that does happen, we'll certainly bring it to you live at 10.
Okay, well, meantime, there is still no definitive answer to Thursday's bomb scare in Southwest Austin. Austin police and the FBI are investigating. This was the same Thursday just off Davis Lane from KXAN Chopper 36. Homeowner John Hoover stepped out on his front porch and picked up a package that he soon believed to be threatening. He laid in his front yard face down wearing a surgical mask, afraid to let go of the package. Bomb squad crews were later able to free him. Well, today, APD tells KXAN they are still investigating the contents of the package. They believe it is harmful and may be using the contents to try and determine where the package came from. Hoover was not injured. An 18-year-old man is in critical condition tonight after a propeller seriously hurt one of his legs while he was boating on Lake Austin. A group of 4 people were reportedly learning how to water ski at the time. The victim was injured by the propeller when the boat backed into him. He was taken by boat to Emma Long Park. Now, emergency crews were there waiting and took the 18-year-old to Brackenridge by Starflight helicopter. The driver of the boat may face misdemeanor charges of negligent operation. More than 24 hours later, firefighters are still battling a blaze in northeast Llano County at this hour. Rugged terrain and dry conditions have made it very difficult to get under control. KXAN's Connie Swinney is there in the hill country with the very latest. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Michelle. We're standing in an area in northeastern Llano County. It's County Road 218, and this is an area where fire officials believe this blaze may have started. So far, it has scorched about 700 acres. If you take a look behind me, you can see an area where it did scorch, and also throughout the afternoon, we've seen flare-ups from time to time. Now, with these constant flare-ups, authorities say they might be here through the 4th of July weekend. Live in Llano County, Connie Swinney, KXAN News 36.
And with no rain in sight, this is a good time, Jim, to remind everyone about those burn bans.
Yeah, most of our viewing area under an outdoor burning ban. Let's take a look at the map. Only a few counties in the hill country, Blanco, Gillespie, Llanos, and Sabalampasas excluded at this time. And to the east, only Lee County. Otherwise, the Austin metro area and other surrounding counties, outdoor burning in just a minute.
Okay, Jim, see you later. Well, firefighters are very busy these days. Take a look at these KXAN Chopper 36 pictures captured this afternoon east of Bastrop. Firefighters are still battling the blaze at this hour. A 10 to 12,000 square foot business and nearby garage burned to the ground. A nearby home also caught fire, but only received some minor damage. Now, crews on the scene now describe the fire as contained, but not yet under control. No word yet on what caused the blaze. Investigators say an electrical problem caused an overnight fire that forced crews to evacuate a South Austin hotel. Take a look. The fire broke out just after 11 at this Ramada Inn on Ben White and Bannister. None of the 100 hotel guests or employees was hurt. However, the fire did cause an estimated $350,000 in damage. The hotel is now without its kitchen. If you're driving this holiday weekend, listen up. State troopers will be out in full force looking to stop any and all reckless drivers. Due to the increase of traffic and an increase of drivers drinking over the holiday weekend, Trooper Robbie Barrera tells KXAN there's often more wrecks and deaths on the road.
They actually do increase, and the reason why is because you have more motorists out on the roadway. They're in a hurry to get to their destination. They may have had too many drinks, and so our fatality rate does actually increase.
Last year, law enforcement arrested more than 900 Texas drivers for drinking and driving during the 4th of July weekend. And here's where you're bound to run into a DPS trooper or law enforcement of some type. Traffic on I-35 moving slowly, bumper to bumper. It looks like southbound's moving slower than the northbound, so be careful out there. And to top it off, Texas drivers will pay near record levels for gasoline over the weekend. AAA says pump prices jumped this week for the 4th straight week in a row. The average price in Texas for a gallon of regular self-serve rose 3 cents to more than $2.13. And for the second day in a row, snake trouble here in central Texas. Take a look. This poisonous 2-foot yellow belly water moccasin turned up today, making his way onto the porch of a home in the Avery Ranch subdivision. He was probably looking for some water. The snake didn't bite anyone, but trapper Art Hopkins says homeowners should be aware if there's any standing water around the house.
I'm starting to believe that because of the drought now, they're starting to move to moist areas.
And if you find a snake or rodent around your house and want it to be picked up and taken away, you can call the Texas Critter Trapper at 452-TRAP. They will return the critter to the wild. The retirement of Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has people talking. The story has several Texas connections, Justice and Texas Secretary of State. Human remains found across the Texas border in Nuevo Laredo, and after all the talk about Mexican kidnappings, Texas takes new action. And Lance is in France, and he's going for 7. We'll show you the Tour de France and how the fever is raging here in Austin. We thank you for making KXAN your news and weather source.
You may be surprised.
Long viewing event. 6 is super, but 7 would be heaven. Lance Armstrong's quest to win a 7th Tour de France championship begins tomorrow. All over Lance's hometown, you can see signs that the enthusiasm is building.
I think that it's fantastic that he's still able to be competitive, and congratulations to him, and I really look forward to seeing how he does this year.
I'm obsessed. I have to admit it. I'm making plans to rearrange my days around getting at least part of watching the tour.
Go, Lance, go. It'll be a little cooler there in France than it is around here right now. Goodness gracious, what a hot day today. Traffic picking up a little bit as people hit the road now to begin the long 4th of July holiday weekend. Temperatures out there in that area you're looking at right now, 100 degrees. Up north at Gerald, it's 97. You folks have been up at 103 in the Gerald area today. Still recording 100 at Lake Travis, 100 in San.
Well, it looks like a little relief inside if that's a breeze going on at the Del Diamond for those Express fans getting ready for a big game. I don't know if I'd be in the mood to be out in this heat today, though, Jim.
Well, no kidding.
At least some shade out there, it looks like.
Yeah, game time I think is a little after 7, so it'll still be very, very warm. In fact, last night at 10 o'clock we were at 90 degrees still, so
right.
it's going to stay real warm.
All-American in the finals.
Thank you very much, Chris. We thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.
KXAN.
The swimmer gets rescued, then his rescuer gets handcuffed. I'm RJ DeSilva. We'll have more on this controversy.
That's next at 10.
There's Little Ariel Gate and tunes from Ringo right after your local news.
Hero or criminal? Witnesses credit this man with saving a life. But Texas State University police in San Marcos put him in handcuffs instead. We'll explain why in just a few minutes. Good evening, I'm Robert Hadlock. Michelle has the night off. First tonight, information just into the KXAN newsroom from the Texas Hill Country. A small airplane has crashed near the airstrip outside of Llano. Take a look here. KXAN's Chopper 36 shows you the wreckage site. That plane went down just after takeoff tonight, only a few hundred yards south of the runway on the north side of the Llano city limits. The emergency call went out around 6:45 tonight. The pilot had to be airlifted to Brackenridge Hospital in Austin, reportedly with head injuries. A passenger was also hurt and taken to Llano Memorial Hospital. A witness says the pilot had just landed in Llano to pick up a passenger before they took off and crashed. Department of Public Safety investigators are looking into the cause of this accident at this hour. A soldier from Austin died in Iraq last Tuesday, just weeks before he was supposed to come home. KXAN's Jenny Hoff joins us live from the newsroom with more on who he was and who he left behind.
Robert, often the pictures you see on television.
I'm Robert Hadlock live in the KXAN studio. 24 hours since severe storms ripped through central Texas, and the cleanup goes on at this hour. Take a tour of some of the hardest hit areas as neighbors put the pieces back together. We'll show you the damage as only KXAN can from the air aboard Chopper 36. Plus, a dramatic day at the Tour de France. How did Lance do today? We'll have the first word for you. NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams next, followed by KXAN News at 6. Neighbors come together to clean up after last night's severe storms. KXAN takes you high overhead for a wide look at the damage. Then he was arrested for saving a life. The latest on the man who jumped in a hero came out in handcuffs.
Tonight at 6 on KXAN News 36.
What a night, what a storm. Power lines down, trees uprooted, and metal roofs ripped off buildings. KXAN News has the pictures you will not see anywhere else from our own Chopper 36. How's this sound? Your car searched the next time you go to Austin's airport. See the new security changes in effect after the London bomb attacks. They will affect you. And the San Marcos man arrested after he rescued a man from drowning. An announcement today after all the public outcry. Good evening, I'm Robert Hadlock. Michelle Valles has the night off. The cleanup effort is underway tonight after fierce storms pounded central Texas. KXAN's Jim Bergamo begins our team coverage with a look at the area's hardest hit and exclusive pictures from Chopper 36.
That is quite a view right there. Very heavy downpours of rain.
Last night at this time, Jim Spencer showed you the ominous skies in the hill country opening up, letting the downpour begin. Take a look and listen. Rain and lightning also made their way to Bastrop County. Large tree limbs were blown down over power lines in the yard of a home in Elgin, and high winds were enough to knock over this 18-wheeler. And those severe storms took their toll in Johnson City, where everything from trees and trampolines to the high school's football uprights were downright out of place. This view from KXAN's Chopper 36 shows us the path of the storm. You can see the roof of the field house at LBJ High School was blown off. Several trees were uprooted. And check out this shot of twisted metal hanging on a fence. It doesn't seem too dramatic until you realize that twisted metal came from the roof of the field house some 200 yards away. Enough of the roof of this home was ripped off that we can actually see the attic insulation. And then there's this home, which was under construction. Let's just say the builder will be starting over. Jim Bergamo, KXAN News 36.
KXAN is the only Austin television station with a news bureau in the Hill Country, and KXAN's Hill Country reporter Connie Swinney joins us live with more on the storm damage there. She's live via satellite in Johnson City.
Well, Robert's workers have restored the power, and the cleanup continues here in the Hill Country, because what we saw was high winds that basically knocked over trees like the one you see behind me and also caused more of the roof damage.
The storm hit close to home for this man.
Surely all this is going to have to be taken out and redone. I'm no carpenter, but there's a lot of work involved, looks like it.
High winds crumpled his roof. Water poured into nearly every room, turning his place into a soggy mess.
Another friend of mine said if I need to, he has a travel trailer, he'll bring it here and set it up, I can stay in. But I said we'll be fine because I have kids that live here in town.
While some residents had to find other places to live, others, like this business, had to shut their doors and start the process of getting things back to normal.
We're not getting any work turned out, so we've turned everything off, and we're waiting for the adjuster to come by and tell us what we can do. We can't take the roof off until they get here. So we want to get that removed and shore up the roof so we don't get any more water damage inside.
These images show the work that still needs to be done. But the real effort started the night of the storm. Lightning strikes followed by fires, outages, rain, and wind.
Fortunately, the rains hit, started putting the fires out, so we were able to come back into town and start focusing on what the townspeople needed.
That help gave some in the community what they needed to move on.
One thing about life, if you hang in there, you're going to recover from it, and it just goes on. But I'm just glad nobody was hurt.
Here's another look at that tree trunk here on Ash Street at Avenue F. It shows you the power, the force of this wind to be able to do something like that. Now, city officials toured the town today to try to assess some of the damage, determine what more needs to be done. For now, residents continue to pick up the pieces, those broken tree branches and whatnot, and also repair their roofs. Reporting live here in Johnson City, Connie Swinney, KXAN News 36.
Could we see a repeat tonight? And what about the weekend forecast? Here's Laura Skirty in for Jim Spencer.
Robert, there was a concern about some storms again today, but that is not going to happen. Temperatures did not heat up enough to trigger those thunderstorms, despite a little bit of upper level energy left over from yesterday's round of severe weather. Let's take another look at weather.
Airport police have now stepped up security. They are now randomly searching cars driving to the terminals. Officers say we took a detour into Germany. KXAN's Chris Stipes joins us live in the newsroom with more on the exciting moments in the race's 7th stage. Chris?
Hello, Robert. Once again, Lance playing it safe today. Unfortunately, others were not. More on that in just a second. A moment of silence before the start of today.
Alrighty then, well, we got lots coming up at 6, including the controversial tax plan that's going on under the dome. We'll fill you in on that. And that's the latest news and weather right now. First of all, we thank you for joining us. We'll join you back here in 90 minutes. Access Hollywood is next. Look at that traffic. Stay indoors.
I'm Robert Hadlock live in the KXAN studio, and here's some of the stories we're working on right now for KXAN News at 6. This young man pays the ultimate price for his service to our country. Hear from the mother of Army Specialist T.J. Carrillo of Austin as her son is laid to rest today. Plus, Austin's caring hearts and high-tech solutions come to the rescue of hurricane victims. NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams is next, followed by KXAN News on your news and weather source.
Max, because bone loss can be reversed.
Austin gives a helping hand to the victims of Dennis. How the Red Cross is using high-tech and big hearts to help hurricane victims see the light. Plus, hear from the parents of an Austin hero laid to rest. KXAN takes you to the emotional service for Army Specialist TJ Carrillo.
Tonight at 6 on KXAN News 36.
Laid to rest, the funeral for a soldier from Austin killed in Iraq.
And more fire departments are having to find new ways to pay for services and expenses. So who's picking up the bill? I'll have that story coming up next.
And the big change at the Texas Lottery after all the questions about lotto jackpots and truth in advertising. But first tonight, the funeral of a fallen Austin soldier. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias.
I'm Robert Howell.
General direction.
Buzzkill.
That's that.
Thank you very much. We thank you for joining us tonight.
Wheel of Fortune's next. We'll see you back here for KXAN News tonight at 10. Thanks.
KXAN closed caption.
Right now on KXAN News, first at 4, the skies are clearing up over Austin after many of you woke up to some rain. This is a live look outside our Austin area from our tower cam. Is there any more rain on the way? Jim Spencer will have your first forecast.
There was a dog chain wrapped around his ankle with a lock.
Plus, pain and punishment. A Williamson County judge today decides a sentence for a father charged with chaining his son to a table. We begin this afternoon with history and the safe landing for the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Landing gear is down and locked. Main gear touchdown.
155 feet. The infamous runaway bride from Georgia couldn't run away from her community service sentence this morning. That plus more developing news from across the nation straight ahead. And doing it right. The Alamo Drafthouse takes top honors in the National Entertainment Magazine. You'll get the details after Jim's weather. Keep it right here at KXAN News first at 4.
Be mostly dry.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias live with Amy Copeland. Now, Austin makeup artist Rochelle Ray is going to transform her look. Stay tuned for the outcome.
Developing news in North Travis County this afternoon as flames and thick smoke from a warehouse fire fill the air in that part of Austin. And we begin with flash flooding and road closures all across Central Texas. This is a live look from KXAN's Chopper 36 in the Salt Branch Creek neighborhood of Georgetown, where the water is now receding. KXAN News first at 4 starts right now. Good afternoon, I'm Robert Hadlock. It's been a downpour of a day as summer storms dumped heavy rains over Central Texas, creating flash flooding in some places. We're monitoring the aftermath now that the showers are clearing out. Our coverage begins with Jim Spencer, who's live in the First Warning Weather Center. Jim?
Robert, let's go right to KXAN Live Doppler radar. We do have good news to report this afternoon. Most of the rain has come to an end. We still do have some runoff causing some flooding of low water crossings in the area, but as you can see, very little precipitation on live dual Doppler radar at this hour. Let's go to the KXAN we have been having today. Our team coverage continues right now with reports live from the ground and in the air. KXAN's Jenny Hoff is live in KXAN Chopper 36. We've been showing
tonight at 6 and 10. More breaking news right now in northern Travis County, just south of Round Rock, where a warehouse for an air conditioning firm has been destroyed by fire. KXAN Santa Henderson is live at the scene just off IH-35 near Grand Avenue Parkway.
Robert, the fire started at Big Tex Air Conditioning and Heating around 2 o'clock. And check this out. This is exclusive video from Chopper 36. We're going to show it to you just right now. This is a scene that the flames shot into the air. Black, thick smoke could be seen for miles. As we were driving north, we saw it. It started at 2 o'clock, and we got here about 10 minutes later. We were the first crew on the scene, and you could see the flames. Firefighters had to lay a lot of hose, just over 1,200 feet of hose, just to try to get water to this building. Now, this building was empty. We're told no one was injured at the time of this fire. 4 trucks responded from Pflugerville and 1 from Austin, that is. It was a heavy job because this metal building simply erupted in flames and quickly. In less than 25 minutes, that metal building was completely demolished. It was falling in, and simply nothing they could do but try to get the water there.
Hey there, I'm Michelle Bias live in the KXAN studio. It's been a busy day for KXAN's Chopper 36 as heavy rain soaked central Texas. Flood-prone areas are already underwater. We'll take you all around them with team coverage to show you where the water's rising. Plus, after the rain passes through, this warehouse south of Round Rock goes up in flames, sending up smoke that can be seen for miles. These stories plus a lot more on KXAN News at 6 right after NBC Nightly News.
On MSNBC.
You could see the smoke for miles around as flames destroy a local business. We'll take you there live.
But first, the big story, a day of heavy rains, flooding. Is there more on the way? We have team coverage for you going from the First Warning Weather Center to the rain-swollen creeks. But we start with a view from the air with KXAN's Jenny Hoff aboard Live Chopper 36.
Robert, it has caused a lot of problems today, this flooding. Now, right now, a lot of it's receded. You can't really see much, but earlier today, these floods really caused a problem for businesses, for homeowners, and for drivers. The first one, we're going to go over to Round Rock, where we are now. Earlier today, though, the water's flooding actually caused a Jeep to get stuck in the water at Old Settlers Park. Now, luckily, the driver of that Jeep was able to get out safely, but it was a very scary moment for drivers, especially trying to pass through. Look at that rushing water. I mean, he was very lucky to get out safely. Also, the water caused the frontage roads of Round Rock, all north of Highway 79, to be closed for quite a while. They did open, though, by mid-afternoon. In Hutto, 2 evacuations were caused by the floods. First, Prairie Technology, a business that makes adhesive products. All of the people working there were escorted out one by one because of the rushing waters. Also nearby, there was a house with 4 residents. They also had to be escorted out. Again, everybody was safe, luckily, but it was pretty scary moments over there. Now, homes near the San Gabriel River also suffered some flood damage. You can see here, it looks like the water would have entered their homes, but it didn't. It went up to the backyard. They put some sandbags out to make sure it did not get into the homes. But children were taking some very dangerous chances when they started riding their bikes in this moving water. That's never a good idea. You don't know what could happen, especially during flash flooding. It's very dangerous if anybody could get caught up in that. Now, that was at the Fort Smith Branch and Quail Valley neighborhoods. Right now, everything is looking better, though. The waters are receding, but it was a pretty dangerous day to be out there on the roads. Let's go to Dan Robertson over there with some more weather news. Dan.
Well, Jenny, even though the rainfall ended hours ago, there's still thousands, millions of gallons of water rushing across central Texas. Here in downtown Austin, we're at Shoal Creek, right at 9th Street, just to the east of Lamar Boulevard. And you can see tens of thousands of gallons rushing by. We were out here for the last 2 hours, and it's only gone down 4 or 5 inches. Now, hours of downpours this morning. We've been lucky to get a break in the rain, but now that central Texas is thoroughly soaked, more rain could mean more trouble. The clouds opened up and rains pounded Austin streets and roads. The creeks and streams swelled quickly, and low water crossings like this one on Lakewood at Bull Creek turned into torrents, rising 1.5 feet in less than an hour or so. But the barriers had still not come down, and some drivers took their chances. Others thought better of it. Yeah, well, you turned around and came back. How come?
Man, it's pretty deep, man. I don't want to go through the river, too. I don't want to swim on it, man.
And that's a smart thing to do. Turn around, don't drown. Now again, most of the low water crossings, especially that one on Bull Creek, they have reopened since the waters have receded, but any additional rainfall could quickly spell more trouble. And the man with the answer on that is in the First Warning Weather Center. Jim, what do we got?
Well, Dan, not much right now. Let's go to KXAN Storm Profiler radar, and you can see there's very little precipitation falling in the area right now. These counties shaded in blue, which include Milam County, Bell County, Coryell County, still under flood warning because of runoff from earlier rainfall. But as you can see, there is not much happening. But now look down to the south, around San Antonio, especially the east side of Bexar County, and then west of San Antonio. We do have some more rain coming up our direction, so we do believe that it's possible we could get additional precipitation tonight. Part of our area remaining under a flash flood watch. In fact, it's been extended. I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes, but I want to show you some of the storm totals. This is rainfall that has fallen today as estimated by the Doppler radar, and a big chunk of Williamson County getting 3 inches of rain today. Northwestern Williamson County, almost exactly the same place as got 3 inches yesterday, getting another 3 to 5 inches today. Up in Bell County, there's water in homes in the Killeen area, and check this out. The Doppler is estimating up to a foot of rain. I think it's overestimating by about maybe 3 to 4 inches, but up to a foot of rain in northern Bell County, and then back into our viewing area in Lampasas County, another ½ foot of rain falling today. We thought that area would be a little farther south, but it fell over the same area as yesterday. We'll talk about more chances for rain and where that flash flood watch continues just a little later.
Well, a huge fire destroyed a warehouse in far North Travis County this afternoon.
You could see the smoke for miles, but it took firefighters a while to get there. KXAN Santa Henderson is live on the scene off I-35 near Grand Avenue Parkway with the latest. Santa?
Michelle, the fire at Big Tex Air Conditioning and Heat.
Family tragedy, an infant dead and a Kyle man fighting for his life as a Central Texas Police Department parking lot becomes a crime scene. Calling it quits. The man in charge of helping create police policies in Austin says it's time to go. And changing his story, a Williamson County dad on trial charged with killing his son makes a deal with prosecutors. KXAN News First at 4 starts right now. Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Bias. We have live reports on these stories developing today from all across Central Texas. We begin with KXAN's Connie Swinney live in Kyle, where a close-knit community is in shock and police have a complicated investigation on their hands. Connie?
Well, Michelle, a Kyle man that is found with a dead baby remains hospitalized after allegedly shooting himself with a police officer's gun. Now, this all happened when they were taking this man in for questioning here at the Kyle Police Department. Now, investigators say 24-year-old Brian Twine walked up to City Hall with a 6-month-old baby about 7:30 this morning. He yelled for help and said the baby was not breathing. EMS arrived and could not revive the child. Later, an officer took the man to police headquarters. And in the parking lot, authorities say he took the officer's gun and shot himself in the face.
The weapon, as I understand, was in the officer's holster. The altercation started. They both ended up on the ground, and at some point he was able to take the weapon from the officer.
The man is believed to be this baby's brother, and he was also believed to have been babysitting the child when this happened. Now, he remains, that's the 24-year-old, remains at Brackenridge in critical condition. Coming up at 6, we'll have more details and the latest. Also, investigators with the Texas Rangers are assisting with this case. Reporting live in Kyle, Connie Swinney, KXAN News 36.
Thank you, Connie. Well, he heads the department that deals with our city's most controversial cases, and now he's stepping down. Police Monitor Ashton Cumberbatch announces he's leaving the post. KXAN Santa Henderson continues our live coverage today with details on what's next for the city and what this means for one high-profile investigation. Santa?
Michelle, as Police Monitor, Ashton Cumberbatch recommends policy to the Austin Police Department. It's a position he's held for almost 2 years. And in that short period of time, there's been some controversial cases that Mr. Cumberbatch has had to deal with. In particular, there was the shooting of 18-year-old Daniel Rocha. Now, Rocha was shot by Austin Police Officer Julie Schroeder. That's a case that caused heated debate throughout the city, and it's one that Mr. Cumberbatch has had to hear complaints from citizens and deal with that investigation. Now, that's part of his job, was to hear those complaints from Austinites. And just like the monitor before him, Cumberbatch left the position only after a couple of years.
I think a stress level is in any job, but dealing with some of the complaints, sure it could be, but they both held their grounds. I think it's just a career change.
Now, Mayor Pro Tem Thomas says Mr. Cumberbatch will stay on the job until the investigation into the Daniel Rocha death is complete. Of course, we'll hear from Mr. Cumberbatch tonight at 6 and have more on this story. Reporting live from the Austin Police Department, I'm Santa Henderson. Back to you.
Thank you, Santa. Well, controversy over taser use by Austin police is at the center of a discussion happening in just 2 hours here in the capital city. KXAN's Kate Whitehall has a preview.
Good afternoon. Tonight, the Human Rights
The daylight shows the damage of Westlake Hills home reduced to rubble. Find out why firefighters could not use a fire hydrant just steps away from the front door. Sticker shock. Gas prices continue to climb. Should you start bracing to pay more for everything? KXAN News First at 4 starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Bias. We'll have all those stories in just a few minutes. We begin today, though, with a new school year for thousands of Central Texas students. Alternative, we'll see again for all of the day's local news at 6 and 10. Stick around for NBC Nightly News in just 1 hour. Access Hollywood is next. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Case dismissed. An Austin police officer is cleared for gunning down a teenage drug suspect. The decision and reaction in the Daniel Rocha case is next. KXAN News First at 4 begins right now. Good afternoon. I'm Robert Hadlock. Officer Julie Schroeder shot and killed Daniel Rocha on June 9th. Today, a Travis County grand jury declined to indict her and dismissed the case. We have live team coverage on this developing story. KXAN's Chris Willis is live in Southeast Austin with community reaction. We begin with our Jenny Hoff. She's live at Austin Police Headquarters with the very latest First at 4. Jenny?
Robert, the grand jury spent 7 days listening to testimonies from 9 witnesses, including an expert reenactment specialist and Officer Julie Schroeder herself. Now, the district attorney's office said there were many key elements.
The night of the shooting. Protests continue today. KXAN's Chris Willis is live in Southeast Austin with more reaction to today's new developments.
Robert, we're live here in East Austin at Podare, self-described as a social justice issue. They're redefining social justice, and it's not hard to tell how they feel about the grand jury no billing. Take a look at some of these signs that are up. The evidence is clear. He was unarmed. This one here, Daniel Rocha, shot in the back at point-blank range. We demand justice, is what they say. Quite different than the grand jury.
Chris, thank you. Our coverage of the Rocha investigation continues live tonight at 6 and 10 here on KXAN. You can also find more information online anytime at KXAN.com. A Williamson County mother is now facing charges after allegedly dumping her baby in the trash. This woman, Lee Ann Penny, has been arrested and charged with abuse of a corpse. That is a Class A misdemeanor in Texas. That from happening.
I said, there's a terrible sound. It sounds like a freight train, and all of a sudden he lets out a scream, get to the basement.
We have new pictures of the aftermath as strong storms carve a path of destruction in the Midwest.
Hopefully his family could come and join.
Sine die, the gavel falls on the second special session of the Texas legislature this summer. Plus, murder near the University of Texas campus. Austin police search for evidence and clues that will help them find a killer. KXAN News First at 4 begins right now. Hi again, I'm Robert Hadlock. We have all of that plus some developing stories in the past half hour. We begin with a wet mess right now in downtown Austin. City of Austin crews are working hard to repair a ruptured 20-inch water main on Nueces between 12th and 13th Streets. Just take a look at these pictures from KXAN Chopper 36. The water created a lake in the busy downtown area this morning around 9 o'clock. KXAN's Haley Stavanoa has been at the scene all day and joins us live with the latest on who this is affecting.
Well, Robert, when the water main break happened at 9 a.m. this morning, it looked more like a river running down Nueces Street rather than it being a street. Take a look at this 6-foot hole. Crews had to cut off the water in order to get down there and work on this pipe, and as you can see, they are trying to hammer that out and fix that. But let's go ahead to some other video that we got throughout the day. Take a look at this. The water that ran off the storm drains dumped into Town Lake. Now you can see pictures from KXAN's Chopper 36. You can see the drainage all the way down Town Lake. One problem here is that the water from the water main break was chlorinated. So the watershed protection team had to come out and dump an additive to the storm drain in order to neutralize the overflow of water that ran into Town Lake. Now the local businesses here along Nueces actually have not had any problems all day long. We're told that they still had water even though they had to cut off the water about 2:30 this afternoon, but still, as far as what caused this mayhem, that is still unknown.
Don't know what caused the break. The line is about 6 feet under the road, and it's also a somewhat older line, so it's possible that just the age of the line and the soil shifting.
Now, definitely, when we got here just a few minutes ago, we're told that it was definitely the age is what they're suspecting, because these pipes were put in the late 1920s. So we're talking over 80 years old, and they said they did find a crack in the bottom of that pipe. So that's why crews are down there in that 6-foot hole trying to repair that pipeline. They said everyone here should have full water pressure by tomorrow. Robert?
Quite a mess. Thanks, Haley. Well, under the dome today, busy at this hour looking for clues that may give them answers about a murder just west of the University of Texas campus. These pictures are from KXAN Chopper 36. They show the crime scene at the Orange Tree Apartments on Rio Grande near 25th Street. You can see investigators combing through trash and carefully scanning the crime scene. KXAN Sally Hernandez is there live with new details.
Hey, Robert, investigators are still out here. The forensics unit is still out here. They've been out.
A broken water main spews a river of water into downtown Austin Street. See why the problems start here and pour into Town Lake. Another special session down the drain. Now lawmakers answer the question of why we should vote for them again. First tonight, murder near the University of Texas campus. We watch as Austin police comb a West Campus apartment complex. I'm Robert Hadlock. Detectives have been searching for clues at the Orange Tree Apartments after a woman was found dead there late last night. KXAN's police reporter Sally Hernandez is out gathering new information at the site at West 25th in Rio Grande. And Sally, what do you have?
Robert, I could tell you that the crime scene was just cleared a couple of minutes ago, some 20 hours after police first discovered that body. The mood out here, Robert, is pretty strange. We have YouTube.
175 pounds. A deadly twister does serious damage in Wisconsin. We'll show you how it leveled homes and much more coming up.
I hope this will be a wake-up call to all of the pharmaceutical companies.
A Texas jury handed the wake-up call to the makers of Vioxx. We'll outline the damages in the first of a long series of lawsuits next.
It looks like we are going to see just a few showers as we continue on through this Friday evening. That's it for rain chances this weekend. Good news if you have plans outdoors, but bad news if you can't handle the heat because we're going to be seeing some triple digits. Here's a look at Storm Profiler, show you where it is raining right now. We've got just a few sprinkles up there in the hill country north of Lake Buchanan. A couple more powerful cells moving through Hayes County and approaching Hayes County. You see the motion on these storms is to the north. We'll show you some radar estimated rainfall totals. This is where it has rained today. You folks in Bastrop County, Fayette County, got some isolated 2/10 to half-inch totals, as well as here in Hayes County where it's raining right now. That complete weekend forecast coming up.
Let's get it going. We'll be back for your news tonight at 10. Hope to see you then. Tonight, breaking news, the search for a killer. Authorities say they now know who killed a young woman near the UT campus. We have a live report coming up. Drinking and driving. Tonight, Central Texas authorities have a new warning they want everyone to hear. And he was an artist, a punk rocker, a man who lived life to the fullest. Remembering this Austin favorite, gone too soon. First tonight, a killer strikes near the UT campus, leaving students in shock. Good evening, I'm Robert Hadlock. Michelle Valles has the night off. Austin police are not saying if it's a random crime or something else, but the discovery of a woman's body in an apartment on the West Campus area has many people on edge. KXAN's police reporter Sally Hernandez is live at the Orange Tree apartment complex. That's at 25th and Rio Grande, where it all happened. Sally?
Well, that's right, Robert. We have late-breaking details on this case. We have just learned that Austin police have charged 22-year-old UT student Colton Petoniak with the murder of 21-year-old Jennifer Cave.
Charred remains, the cleanup underway a day after fire consumes a popular downtown Austin restaurant. Plug in Austin will tell you about the new push to promote the mass production of hybrid vehicles in the capital city and the nation. First, new developments this afternoon in the grisly murder of a Corpus Christi woman just steps from the UT campus. KXAN News First at 4 begins right now. Hello again, I'm Robert Hadlock. The horrific new details about the murder of 22-year-old Jennifer Cave are coming to light just days after her body was found in a unit at the Orange Tree Apartments. Our live coverage begins with KXAN's Rich Parsons at the scene of the murder in West Campus with new information. Rich?
Yeah, Robert, it appears that Jennifer Cave was shot, stabbed, and her body partially dismembered. It was left in a bathtub in unit number 88 here at the Orange Tree Apartments. That's just up there on that landing. According to an arrest warrant, that's the apartment of 22-year-old Colton Petoniak. Police are charging him with Cave's murder, but they do not know where he is this afternoon. According to that arrest warrant, Cave's family last spoke with her on the 16th of August. They found her body here 2 days later. The warrant describes a grisly, horrific scene inside that apartment. It also says Petoniak was seen inside a nearby hardware store buying a hacksaw. According to the warrant, inside the apartment, officers observed that body parts had been severed from the deceased and a hacksaw lying on the female's chest.
This is not a random act of violence. This is acquaintance on acquaintance.
Now, police won't discuss the nature of the relationship between Cave and Petoniak, and they do not have a motive in the killing. Again, they don't know where Petoniak is this afternoon, but the warrant shows 2 calls from his cell phone were made from the border area. And if you have any information, you are being asked today to call the police department, the Austin Police Department. And police say if you see him, do not try to approach him. Call 911 and get police help. Reporting live in West Campus, Rich Parsons. Robert, back to you.
And we're staying on top of this story. We'll have the very latest as it occurs here on KXAN. Well, crews are picking up the pieces today after a fire that destroyed the Bitter Inn Brewery. This was the scene when the fire came in at Sunday afternoon. It was a 3-alarm fire. Firefighters struggled with the intense flames in the heat of the day while battling the blaze. Managers expect part of the longtime establishment to reopen in just a couple of days. KXAN's RJ DeSilva joins us live from the warehouse district with some new information.
Yeah, Robert, we're in the front end of the Bitter End restaurant right now, and you can see that they've put up the chairs in the dining and bar area as they continue cleaning up here. The fire was actually further back in the restaurant. Investigators still haven't said what the cause of this fire is. They say damage is estimated at about $300,000 to the building and contents. Now, the B-side, which is a multi-level bar attached to the Bitter End, had a lot of smoke and water in it, and that's what crews were cleaning up for most part of the day today, and they're actually continuing to clean up. And the general manager of the Bitter End tells us that he expects the B-side to be open by Wednesday at the latest. It is a different story for the restaurant area.
Fortunately today we've been able to come in and see that the fire was pretty much contained to the back third of the building. The actual Bitter End structure wasn't really hurt, so that's good.
As for when the restaurant will open, we talked to the owner, Reed Clemens, on the phone earlier this afternoon, and he told us it's tough to gauge, but maybe a couple of months before the Bitter End reopens. We'll have much more information tonight at 6 and 10. Robert, back to you.
Thanks, RJ. Well, everyone is feeling the bite of expensive gasoline, but what if you could get by on just 1 tank a month? Central Texas leaders are launching a grassroots effort to make it a reality. It's a campaign soon to be spreading nationwide. KXAN's Dan Robertson is live with more in this Austin on the Move report.
Well, Robert, with gas prices so high, the demand for hybrid vehicles is also soaring, but hybrid mileage could be doubled or more with a kind of hybrid called a plug-in, a car that plugs into any socket to charge the batteries. A vehicle like that might need gas once a month. But automakers won't build them without buyers, and that's why a rare coalition of environmental, business, and government leaders have launched a campaign to try to promote the idea. They say it accomplishes several goals at once: cleaner air, lower costs, and reduced dependence on foreign oil.
We weren't so worried about getting access to foreign oil, we wouldn't have so many kids dying overseas and be involved in wasting so much tax money overseas.
Now, a key component to this idea is a new high-capacity battery developed by a company here in Austin. By charging one of those on the utility grid, an electric gallon of gas would run about 75 cents or so. We'll have more on this coming up on KXAN News 36 at 6. Robert?
Jim, our hats off to Rich and Dan, and everyone has to work outside today.
Yeah, it's finally August, isn't it?
In that case. An important announcement today could change the future of stem cell research. And what does Friday's verdict in the first trial against the makers of Vioxx here in Texas mean for other drug companies? Today's Health Check is straight ahead. And the University of Texas Performing Arts Center has officially gone to the dogs. Coming up, we're going to take you behind the scenes of Will Rogers' Follies and introduce you to some of the four-legged characters.
NBC News, New York.
I'm Roger Walls. Coming up in sports, he doesn't play much, but he could be in charge of the #2 ranked football team in the nation if something bad happens to Vince Young. We'll meet Matt Nordgren coming up.
And I'm Jim Spencer. Your first weather is right here on First at 4, and it is coming up next. And it is the hottest period of August that we have seen. Temperatures in the triple digits right now in South Austin, Betachek Middle School. And you're not alone down there in South Austin. Much of our Central Texas area right now at 100 degrees or above. Will we get any relief? Your first warning weather forecast is next.
Good girl, Samantha. Up. Ooh, Samantha. Up.
These four-legged entertainers are some of the stars of the new Broadway musical, The Will Rogers Follies, A Life in Review. They'll perform along with Larry Gatlin in the upcoming performances at the Bass Concert Hall at the UT campus. 7 Dogs are part of the show, which debuts on Saturday night. You can find the link for more information at KXAN.com. They're all happy because they're inside. You know?
And they're rescues. Did you say that?
Yes, they are.
That's fantastic.
Roger, thanks. What do Tiger Woods and some local interns have in common?
The bus should be at Lot A in 1 minute. So you just want me to...
We're going to make the connection for you, and we're letting some computers do the talking coming up next. You're watching KXAN News live at 4:22. New application, there's no guarantee. The ideas created by the Extreme Blue teams will make it to the market. You can learn more at KXAN.com. Well, is Mopac and 183 a parking lot? Not at all. It's moving kind of good here at 4:25, and we'll have more KXAN News coming up next.
Coming up tonight, news on women's health and what the president had to say today about the war in Iraq. It's all ahead tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Chronic disease in women.
Coming up in 1 hour on NBC Nightly News, science correspondent Robert Bazell will look at the unlikely way this study started and how its findings are helping women stay healthy. Thanks for joining us here at KXAN News at 4. We'll see you for our news at 6. Hi, I'm Robert Hadlock, live in the KXAN studio, and here's what we're working on for you for our news at 6. Please tell KXAN News the awful facts of how they think a young woman was viciously killed just steps from the UT campus. We'll have new details. Plus, Burnett County says it shouldn't have to pay for an autopsy in Austin that mistook an 81-year-old woman for a 23-year-old man. NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams next, followed by KXAN News. Grisly details emerged today about just how a 21-year-old woman died near the UT campus, allegedly at the hands of her dinner date. We'll explain where Austin police are looking for the suspect and how they traced his seemingly calculated moves. A botched autopsy. Find out who's taking aim now at the Travis County Medical Examiner.
Instead of an expensive gallon of gas, how about some of these in your car? It's a new type of hybrid vehicle that's being promoted by leaders here in Central Texas to the whole nation. I'm Dan Robertson, and I'll have the story.
Austin police have a suspect, but not a motive in the gruesome killing of a young woman in the West Campus area. KXAN's Rich Parsons is live at the crime scene with new details.
Katrina's aftermath. The water is rising in New Orleans as people hold out hope again today that they'll be rescued from rooftops. As those rescue efforts continue, Houston prepares for the arrival of close to 25,000 evacuees from the Superdome. And local firefighters are packing up and headed to the regions with the most destruction as President Bush declares a public health emergency for the entire Gulf Coast. KXAN News First at 4 begins right now. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias. President Bush is now back in Washington after getting a view from the air of Hurricane Red. KXAN.com. Of course, you can always call us if you didn't write that down. Many of New Orleans victims have made their way to Austin to stay with family. One Round Rock home was packed last night with over 50 guests. All of them are fleeing from the high waters of New Orleans. Even a church camp in New Braunfels, Slumber Falls, is allowing more than 40 people to come stay with them in their facilities for free for the next month.
Any apartments, anybody can assist us on getting people placed at, all we are grateful, you know. And a lot of people saying they're not trying to get hand-me-downs or whatever. They're willing to work.
The families say they're so appreciative of the Slumber Falls camp opening their doors so they can all...
Coming up.
It is unbelievable. It's just a horrible situation for this city.
We will continue to monitor the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Still ahead on KXAN News at 4, NBC Austin's Robert Hadlock gets a bird's eye view of the damage from Chopper 36. And more local news as a babysitter on trial for the death of a toddler learns her fate. KXAN News First at 4 is just getting started. Stay with us.
Turned down for a payday loan because of new bank regulations? Try 5 at 6.
Get us out of here! We want to get out of here! And it just gets worse. Rampant looting and desperation takes hold in New Orleans. Massive evacuation sent tens of thousands to Texas. Stay with KXAN for new developments.
Tonight at 6.
Welcome back. We will return to our local coverage of how Central Texans are helping, but right now President Bush is getting ready to speak. Here's NBC's Brian Williams with a special report from New Orleans.
News, New Orleans.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's a quick recap of President Bush's speech from the Rose Garden. He's calling this the worst national disaster in the nation's history. He got a first-hand view of that devastation of the Gulf Coast. He says they're focusing on 3 things right now: saving lives, assisting local officials in evacuations, and a comprehensive recovery effort, rebuilding roads, rebuilding bridges, the levees, the breaches. The Coast Guard, he says, has rescued about 2,000 people right now. They are sending in a hospital ship to help a lot of those people there. Talking about numbers, 5.4 million MREs, meals ready to eat, millions of gallons of water they're sending, 10,400 tarps, 144 generators, 135,000 blankets, 11,000 cots, 78,000 people are now in shelters. So what do you need to do? The president says right now you need to send cash. Contribute cash to the charity of your choice, 1-800-HELP NOW.
We'll sort all this out later. Let's make sure that these 5 trucks going each have a full set of kits.
Gearing up and steeling their nerves for the days ahead, Austin first responders rushed to help the desperate situation in New Orleans. Here at home, the doors are wide open for refugees seeking shelter. Meanwhile, the stranded still beg to be rescued. The rescued are running out of food, and the dead are left unattended. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias. New Orleans mayor says the city must be completely evacuated and won't be functional again for 2 or 3 months. He estimates thousands have likely died there in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. KXAN's Chris Willis continues our coverage with more on what's next.
Both the living and the dead are awaiting discovery in New Orleans.
KXAN, NBC Austin.
Haley, thanks. An Austin team of emergency personnel is on the way to help with rescue efforts in Louisiana. 30 paramedics deployed today from the Austin Fire Department, Travis County EMS, and a county resource of volunteers. FEMA is funding this medical team. This morning they packed trucks and a mobile command center with supplies to respond to the urgent request from the Louisiana Health Department. They expect to set up in New Orleans early tomorrow. Some of the volunteers had little time for an unexpected goodbye with their families.
He called me about 2 hours ago and said he got the word to go on this, and he was in San Marcos at school and I was in Cedar Park, and so we raced over here and we just saw him for about 5 minutes and now he's gone for a week.
Austin Energy is also on the way to help get the lights back on in the New Orleans area. The utility company is sending 15 linemen and 14 vehicles, including bucket trucks and materials. Trucks are transporting rolls of power lines and power poles to Louisiana. Austin Energy has also released 10 of its contract tree trimming crews that will assist with cleaning up debris. We've taken several calls from people trying to find family members that they haven't been able to contact since the hurricane, so grab a pen. Here is a good source of information. The Salvation Army Team Emergency Radio Network is answering online inquiries about the whereabouts of Hurricane Katrina victims. The web address is right there on your screen, saturn.org. And we also have a link at KXAN.com. We here at KXAN are doing our best to also raise some money and a lot of goods that we need for Friday. Let's check in with Jim with more on that. Jim?
We have a specific way for you to help, and I'm going to be passing that information on to you here in just a few minutes. And we've just learned of a gentleman who is putting together coordinating people that want to offer their homes or rooms in their homes to some of the thousands of victims who will be coming to Texas. And I'm going to be telling you about him and how you can contact him also just a few minutes away. So stay with us for that. Back here weather-wise, another hot day. It's 100 degrees right now out at the airport. We hit 102 today. September starts tomorrow. When are we going to see that relief? The forecast coming up.
And students in Central Texas are doing their part in the disaster relief effort. I'm Connie Swinney. I'll have more coming up.
From Camp Casey to Austin City Hall, find out why these protesters who have made headlines for weeks are marching through Austin. That's coming up on KXAN, NBC Austin.
Your local news is next.
A lot of people are found by the first few days by the local first responders. But we're making sure and trying to look for that one person or few lucky people that maybe somehow survived.
The search for survivors. Teams in Biloxi and New Orleans going door to door trying to find people who are still alive. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Vias. Texans are taking action right now to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Today, soldiers in Fort Hood loaded up Black Hawk helicopters and headed out. 240 members of the 4th Infantry Division are going to southern Louisiana to assist in the recovery efforts. And tonight, the first of up to 25,000 evacuees are in buses on the way back or on the way to the Astrodome in Houston, where they'll get a place to stay. Now, these are people who first gathered in miserable conditions in the Superdome in New Orleans after Katrina struck. And here in Austin, preparations are underway at the Tony Berger Center to care for refugees who have nowhere else to go. More on those stories in just a moment, but first, here's NBC's Steve Handelsman with the latest from New Orleans.
The final order to evacuate came with 80% of New Orleans still underwater. The floods not getting worse, but not receding much either. Thousands of people were still trapped in their homes. As sun set and New Orleans went pitch dark